Hello, everyone. I'm Clinton Smith. I'm the CEO of GCES, and I'm also the host of our 2 Cents Live, our show all about finances and retirement with my friend, my husband, and also our founder and our resident financial advisor, Galen Bargerstock. Galen, how are you?
Good, Glenn. How are you doing today?
You know what? I am also still wonderful today.
Good.
Yeah.
Another good one.
Yeah. So I know the topic that we're talking about today is something that's very important when it comes to our clients. And out of all the people I know, you're the biggest fiduciary I've met.
Thank you. Such kind words. I appreciate it.
Right? So guys, fiduciary, it's a fun word to say, but the meaning is actually pretty serious. So the definition involving trust, especially with regard to the relationship between a trustee and a beneficiary, is the definition that comes up when you Google it. Galen, can you break that down for me and really tell me what does that really mean to be a fiduciary?
In the very simplest form possible, I have to put your needs above my needs no matter what we do when we work together. You know, I have to give you advice that does not profit me in any way above anything, else. I have to make sure that I'm doing the correct things for you and your family.
So it's someone who manages money or property for someone else. Mm-hmm. When you are named a fiduciary and accept the role, you must, by law, manage the person's money and property for their benefit, not yours.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, like I said, I have to put your needs above my needs because you have to trust the person that you're working with, because when it comes to, the financial things that we're going to do and talk about, I'm regulated and everybody has to know that I'm doing the correct thing out there for you.
Yeah. So were you always a fiduciary, or is this something relatively new?
No, I haven't always been a fiduciary. It wasn't a childhood dream when I woke up one day like, I want to be a fiduciary. Yeah, nobody. And it's a very odd word. I don't know who makes these words up. But no, I did not want to be a fiduciary. This all just happened to me.
Yeah. And that happens with a certain license or qualification, correct, where you're able to be a fiduciary?
Yeah. I mean, it's testing, and throughout my career, I've had different tests. I've had, the life insurance tests, the Series 6, the Series 63, the Series 65 made me a fiduciary. That's the financial advisor. Once a person becomes a financial advisor, you are a fiduciary. I just have to be heavily regulated is what it comes down to. The regulations that I go through with everything. So there's just a higher standard put upon me than somebody that is, say, just selling insurance.
Yeah, which, guys, I would be an insurance-only producer. I only have my insurance, my life, health, and annuity license. I don't actually ever use it. I just do it so that I can talk about it and so that I have an understanding of what we do at GCES. Mm-hmm. But Galen really is a financial advisor that sits down with people. Whenever you sit down with someone, I know we take a holistic approach. Mm-hmm. What are the things that you're going to go over with someone in their first meeting?
In the first meeting that I meet with somebody, we're going to go over what you have. In simplest terms, do you own your own home? Do you have a pension? How long have you been employed? Are you married? Spousal information, stuff like that. So it's just gathering information about you and your family situation so I can give you advice on what to do financially in the future.
Yeah, and I know it's very hard sometimes for people to really wrap their head around what it is in retirement that's going to be happening. How do you actually paint that picture for them to be able to look at it or see it or to visualize it in their head?
I paint pictures and paint scenarios, without even saying anything. So, what I'm doing is I'm trying to give inspiration, I guess, on stuff that you can do in the future with what you have.
Yeah. So in the end, I'm assuming you also break down and explain to them where all of their income is going to be coming in retirement?
Definitely. I'm going to show you their income in retirement. But if I'm meeting with you at a very young age and you are just coming into the workforce, it's kind of a little bit premature to start going about income. So that comes into what stage of life we are in whenever we're having a conversation for the first time. Because no, if somebody is just getting hired and they're 22 years old, I am not really going to go very in depth on how much money you're going to make when you retire. Retirement is 40 years away at that point, most likely. So I'm just going to help you get to that point without really giving you overwhelming information, because there's a lot of stuff that I could go over and it just be whoop, right over a person's head. So I adjusted and tailored to the specific impact it would make in their life at that time.
Yeah. So let's go back to this. Topic is fiduciary, the word.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's been around that long, because we haven't heard it until the last couple years. I mean, obviously it's been around since like Latin times, because it comes from a Latin word. But it's something that's really just become relatively important in the last couple of years, because people have so many options out there of places to look, places to go for their retirement planning, and there are a lot of people out there who aren't fiduciaries.
There are tons of people out there that are not fiduciaries, that are giving advice like a fiduciary would, misrepresenting themselves, and that's kind of why a fiduciary is actually scrutinized about what we do, because once you get to that level, there's a lot of consequences if we are doing the wrong thing for people. So that's that higher standard and higher level. So I take it very seriously, and like I said, I just became a fiduciary, but human nature wise, I think I've always tried to do the right thing for everybody. So it was like hand in hand, second nature once I became a fiduciary.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't really talked about, fiduciary. It has been come up a lot more recently, and I think that's because COVID made everybody sit down, relax, because you had tons of time on your hands, and start researching things. And people started figuring out on their own that a fiduciary is somebody that you need to speak to about retirement, not just somebody that is just a life insurance sales. Because I'm not saying that the life insurance salesperson isn't doing the appropriate thing. I'm just saying they might not know the big picture. Because with the license to become a fiduciary, I can't even say it, it's a tongue twister. You're going into all of this training, learning more and more of what's appropriate, how to help a person. So really it's the education that gives me the qualification, but at the end of the day, it's the trust that we have with each other that makes the relationship.
Now, in case you guys don't know at home, Galen and I have been together almost 20 years. That is a ton of years. And I've seen him take all of these tests. I've been there doing everything that I can to make sure that he is able to study while also meeting with 20, 30 people a week. Yeah. And it can be very difficult. We've worked very hard to get all of our licenses. We've worked very hard before making sure that we are already doing the right things for people. But now that Galen is a fiduciary, we have to do the right things for people, and it's required of us by law.
Yeah.
If you want to have an appointment with us or one of our advisors, we have more than one fiduciary on our staff that you're able to meet with. All you have to do is call the number on our screen, 888-391-3465, and we can sit down and go over all of these things with you, and you can understand and feel comfortable knowing that we're going to make the best decision that's right for you, not the best decision that's right for us. Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment, everyone.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Preparing families for retirement, GCES.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Clinton Smith. I'm the CEO of GCES. I'm here with our financial advisor and our founder of GCS, Galen Bargerstock. And this is our 2 cents, where we talk about tons of things related to retirement and finance, and hopefully something fun in between.
Yeah, you got to have fun at the end of the day, right? Or what's it all worth?
Yeah. So, Galen, what do you like to do in your time off?
In my time off currently, I'm really into running, so I got back into running on the treadmill. I don't like to run outside. It's kind of weird. I'm the type of person that likes to run inside, get it in, get it out, get it done. But I do enjoy it.
Yeah. He has been into running, ladies and gentlemen. If you look back to episode 1, you'll see that we've both been shrinking in size ever since. Thanks, Ozempic. We could get sponsored. That would be amazing.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we're talking about fiduciaries. Galen is a fiduciary, and that basically means that he has to put the needs of his clients before the needs of himself and making sure that he's doing the best things for our clients. Now, Galen, how does this apply to working with your clients? What's, number one?
Number one is just acting in the best interest, and we've said it a couple times in the last, 10 minutes that we've been talking, but it really truly is me putting your needs above my needs, and I have, luckily been doing this for such a long time that I am in a position financially that I don't care what you do. I don't care if you decide you want to work with me. I love working with people and explaining everything to them, but I'm going to do it in an honest manner, and I'm not going to do it to rip anybody off. So that is the biggest thing for me, is the trust that I can be. I want to be that person in somebody's life. I don't want to be the person where, oh, that guy's a shyster and he ripped me off. I want to be like, oh yeah, you can trust Galen. Yeah, that's how I want to be.
And ultimately, folks, that is how we have built our business from the beginning. We started out working with federal employees, and a ton of federal employees have been preyed on by companies that are literally out there selling the same life insurance policy to every federal employee, going on amazing trips, and then the company goes out of business and screws all of those thousands and thousands of federal employees that went into the plan. So, from the very beginning, we decided that we wanted to be able to sleep at night and do the right thing for people. So honestly, I know that you have been a fiduciary for a few years now, but I think that we've been really acting in the best interest of our clients since the beginning.
Since the very beginning. I mean, the marketers that have helped me get to where I am today, at one point they considered me a whistleblower because I was calling out the other people in the industry. The federal employees, it is, I believe, the largest employer in the world still. I know the post office used to be the largest employer. I think Walmart took them out. But, in general, once you bring in the FBI, the USDA, the Postal Service, there's so many employees out there, and there's so many people trying to, just make money off of them. And to me, it's a little bit disgusting because there is no one product that I can give you every single person that will fit every single need. Disability insurance is ultimately one of my biggest pet peeves, not life insurance, because people will tell you, oh, you're going to get injured, you better buy this. And to me, it's like, well, why are you going to buy a disability policy if you have 8 months of sick leave? It just makes no sense. Why waste that money? So, though again, I'm a whistleblower at the beginning because I didn't want to tolerate it.
Yeah, and I know that the second thing on the list of how breaking it down to clients, the second thing is avoiding conflicts of interest. Yeah. So how does that work out? Like, I know what a conflict of interest is, but how does that work out in retirement planning? What do you mean by that?
Conflict of interest might be, as simple as, I am going to recommend this to you because I'm making money off of this if I put you into it. It's not just, commission made off of assets under management. It's I'm trying to get you to go into this because I'm getting money off of it. Yeah. That is a conflict of interest. And there's so much more around it. That's just the simple terms. Yeah. But conflict of interest is just something that is a red flag that I am not able to do business with you because of we're in a different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, ultimately, as a fiduciary, Galen is selling products that are a fee-based product. We also sell insurance and stuff like that. So we don't want people to think that we're doing this for free.
Yeah.
In the end, we do make money, but in that process, we're also doing the best thing for our clients and making sure that they understand the retirement, and we're helping them make the best choices possible for them.
Correct.
And really, if you think about it, this goes back to the whole thing of why have a financial advisor, right? There are so many people out there that want to DIY their retirement, and it goes nowhere because they don't understand the things available to them. They don't understand the things that are available out there. And a lot of times they don't really even understand the goals that they have for retirement until you sit down with them.
Yeah, I don't think that I've met anybody that was 100% perfect with everything. I think that, people are very close and they have understandings of what's going on, but there's always something that I can, nudge in there to give you maybe something a little bit to think about, that you aren't going to think about that I know of because it's happened to somebody else. And again, that is me learning from where I started at level 0 to where I'm at today. It's just, I've seen so many different scenarios. I have an idea of what you need to look out for.
Yeah. So the third thing that we have is following plan documents. Now, is this only for employers?
This is more for, a plan administrator. If you're running a investment plan for an employer, you just have to follow the guidelines of what the plan wants you to do, not just take it upon yourself and do what you feel.
Yeah. Nice. So guys, being a fiduciary is a huge responsibility. It's something that we take very seriously. Galen takes it very seriously, and it's super easy for you to get an appointment with us. We also have other financial advisors that are also fiduciaries. It's really simple. You just have to give us a call, 888-391-3465. There's also a QR code right here on the screen that you can click to get more information and find out how to book an appointment. But ultimately, whenever you work with someone that's a fiduciary, you're going to work with someone that has to put your best interests before their own. And we understand there are 1,000 different places for you to call that you can get a financial advisor or a fiduciary. And we understand that's how it works. Ultimately, it's going with someone that you like. So that's why we want to do this show. We want you guys to get to know us. That way you can feel comfortable giving us a call, and we can help you plan your retirement and help you get on the right track.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's trust. It's a relationship that we are going to have together and hopefully last a lifetime.
So guys and girls, I want to thank you so much. We have a quick break and we're going to be back in just a few moments. We'll see you in a second.
I think the best thing to start at with retirement is just knowing that you don't have to have a certain dollar amount for retirement. It's just knowing that you want to retire and you need to start thinking about the different aspects of it.
Even if you're in your 30s and you just got married, it's time to start meeting with someone and get a plan in place. It's not always easy to do it whenever you're right there at retirement. So if you're years out, it's time to get a plan in place.
I think a successful retirement is a happy retirement. It doesn't matter to me how much money you're going to make into retirement. You know your bills better than I do. So I think just being happy and comfortable with what you have is the appropriate amount that you need for retirement. It's very important to have a financial plan into retirement because if you don't have a plan, you're going to kind of be lost with what to do. And plans change, but at least if you establish a plan, you have a little bit more consistency of what's going to go on.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Clinton Smith. I'm the CEO of GCS. I'm here with Galen Bargerstock, our financial advisor, and we are talking about the term fiduciary. And what does fiduciary mean, and how does that affect our clients? So, Galen, I know fiduciary, it's fun to say.
Yeah.
And it's super confusing for some people. But how do you feel about being a fiduciary, really? Like, when it comes down to it, is this what you wanted to do?
No, it's what I do, though. So it's a little bit different. So didn't see it coming, but I like it. I appreciate it. I like doing the right thing. So that helps.
Ultimately, we want to be able to sleep at night, and if being a fiduciary will help us do that, it is the way we want to go. We've acted like a fiduciary since the beginning, but it really comes with a certain license that you can call yourself a fiduciary. What license is that?
Pretty much the 65. Whenever you become a financial advisor, that's when you're going to technically become a fiduciary. Now, it's not just the 65. There's other circumstances where other people are considered fiduciaries. You can be a lawyer with fiduciaries. I am not a lawyer. But, there's different scenarios where you can be a fiduciary. In my case, it's the Series 65.
Nice. And we did have a checklist of things that a fiduciary has to do. And one of them is diversifying investments. How can you do that with clients that may or may not want a lot of diversification inside of their investments?
Well, it comes into the doing the right thing for the person and putting their needs above my needs. So diversification, my diversification of what I want to invest in is completely different from what you want to invest in because of your diversification. So really it's about risk. So we're going to talk about risk tolerance, where you should be at in the market. Can you handle that risk? And then inside of that, we make sure that your policies or the investments are diversified. Do you have a portion into an annuity? Are you have a portion into the managed money? So it's managed money. So it's the big aspect of everything that gives diversity. It's not just one thing or another. It's what's tailored specific to you in the situation, and that's that trust relationship that we have.
Yeah. I want to just make sure for everyone at home that's watching, what does risk tolerance mean? That's something that we say a lot. I just want to make sure everyone at home actually understands what we're talking about here.
So no, risk tolerance is where I kind of ask you questions. I'm going to get into your head and kind of see what you could handle in the stock market, whether you could play a little bit more aggressive than you are right now, or maybe you're playing way too aggressive and you can't handle that and you're having anxiety because of the market swings up and down. So risk tolerance is simply figuring out where you should be at in the market, whether you should be, say, for instance, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, or vice versa, tailored to you so you don't have anxiety over the market and you're happy with your returns.
Yeah. So what kind of questions do you ask someone to understand their risk tolerance? Do you want to do it to me? Ask me my risk tolerance?
Well, I have software and stuff too, so it's not just me willy-nilly winging it out there. There's a little bit more to it, but I can ask you questions.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
I generally have an idea, but it's one of the things with fiduciaries, we are required to document everything. So, that's kind of why we do have software that goes over what your risk tolerance is. But I would simply ask you, how old you are, what is your net worth?
30.
You're not 30. Lies.
All right. 40,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But barely.
Barely 40, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. So, risk tolerance is just, net worth, asking questions about investments, your thoughts and feelings on the market, because ultimately, if you don't want to lose money, I shouldn't be putting you into something so risky that you could lose 25%. That wouldn't be correct. That wouldn't be my fiduciary duty, elevating your risk so you make more money thinking, hey, I think you can handle it. It doesn't matter if I think you can handle it or if the world can handle it. It matters if you personally can handle it, tailored to you.
So for the people that are watching at home, that is already working with someone to plan their retirement, whether they're a financial advisor or whatever, would you think it would be okay for someone to ask, are you a fiduciary, whenever they decide to work with someone or before they decide to work with someone?
Yeah, it's a good question. I do get asked, am I a fiduciary when I'm in appointments? Some people don't know if I am. It's not like something, I don't wear a name tag broadcasting it. But, like you said earlier, it's become more common, people asking these questions, are you a fiduciary? Yeah. So I actually got asked it last week twice, because people want a fiduciary. They want to know that you have the training to talk about what you're talking about, because they want to make the right decisions.
Yeah. Luckily, the people that known you for years have already known that you're a huge fiduciary. So that's
right.
good.
I know. I get it.
So I know fiduciaries can get paid, and they get paid typically in a few different methods. One is a fixed annual retainer, another one is an hourly rate, and the last one is a percentage of the investment assets.
Yeah, so pretty much assets under management, there is a fee to have, the account, and that fee is where I'm going to make income off of it. I actually don't do the other ones that you're talking about. It's not that I can, it's that I don't want to. I don't see the need. I just, manage the assets for you and have the commission that I make off of doing that.
Off of the fees.
Off of the fees.
Yeah. So are you able to even share what that approximate or range of fees are, or does it depend on the
I mean,
product?
I don't want to say something wrong. I think that we're allowed to charge $600 for an appointment. It's just something that I don't do. I don't see the need for me to charge you to ask questions. I'm just not that type of person that wants to charge you to sit down and have an appointment with me. I would rather have an appointment with you for free, and you can walk out the door and we can go our separate ways. To me, I'm not going to charge you to decide if you like me or not.
Yeah. And we're about 28 minutes into this episode. If you haven't decided by now and you're still watching of whether you like us, give us a call. You can decide over an appointment. Galen will actually meet with you and go over all of these things that are related to your retirement and your finances. And this is really something that we do for everyone. There's a number on the screen, 888-391-3465. Galen can meet with you over Zoom. You can come to our office in Indiana, Pennsylvania. We also do travel. You might not be able to book that through the number on the screen, but they will be able to help you out and get you an in-home appointment booked as well. Again, just give a call to the number on the screen, 888-391-3465. And we do have just a few minutes left, so I want to bring this full circle, Galen. When it comes to retirement planning, do you think that the fiduciary is the best way to go?
I do. I think that you need to make sure that you're talking to the right person when you do something. The only other point, because I thought that we were going to have a hard time talking about fiduciary, but the other thing that I want to throw in there is, the compliance aspect of us being regulated. Being a fiduciary means that my text messages, my emails, everything about communications, my storage systems, how I handle your documents, everything is scrutinized, and everything needs to be able to be looked at and accessible by a higher level at any point. So that's the level that you get when you work with me. Just know that, a text message is not a text message. It's a text message that somebody can have their eyes on to make sure I'm not lying to you inside a text message. So heavily scrutinized, and I like it. I like the regulations. I think it makes a person a little bit, I don't want to say more honest, but I think it makes you, you're going to do the right thing because you have to. It's not that I wasn't going to do it anyways, but I like the compliance.
Yeah. And I don't know why I relate this story to this thing. It's all about trust and an honesty thing. I grew up in the middle of nowhere on a road that was a dead end. I lived next to a cornfield, and I told you this story this morning, and you didn't think that it was actually a real thing, but I just saw, we were in a small village a few weeks ago, and there was a sign for firewood that was an honesty thing where there's a box, put your money in it, and, help yourself to firewood. At the end of the road I grew up on, there was a guy that I know was like in his 80s that had a shed with a refrigerator in it, and you could go in and get sodas, but you had to be honest and actually pay the money, and he would just refill the sodas and take the money out of there. And that's something that you don't see anymore. People aren't that trusting, and there are terms out there like fiduciary to help protect people whenever they're planning their finances in retirement. If you want to have an appointment, you just give the number on the screen a call. We're here to help everyone, regardless of your tax bracket. We can help you understand everything that you have coming to you for your retirement. It's been a great week, guys. Galen, thank you so much. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week.